The Galactic Council chamber fell silent as Ambassador Sarah Chen casually flipped through her datapad, her expression unchanged despite the heated argument that had erupted around the circular table. The emergency session had been called after the Vorthak Empire's sudden declaration of territorial expansion into neutral space, and tensions were running higher than the artificial gravity generators could compensate for. "The humans remain suspiciously quiet," hissed Zektar, the reptilian delegate, his forked tongue tasting the air nervously. "What game are you playing, mammal?" Sarah looked up from her datapad with the kind of calm that made seasoned diplomats uncomfortable. "No game, Zektar, just reviewing our options." The crystalline representative, Shalthara, chimed in with harmonics that translated roughly to skepticism. "Options? Your species has been part of this council for merely 50 rotations. What options could you possibly have that we, with our millennia of experience, have not considered?" A slight smile played at the corners of Sarah's lips, a human expression that had taken most species years to decode, and even then they weren't sure they liked what it meant. "Well," Sarah said, setting down her datapad, "we could implement Contingency Plan Zeta-7 for the Vorthak situation." The chamber's atmospheric processors hummed in the sudden silence. High Admiral Krex of the militant Kavari Coalition leaned forward, his forearms crossed in what his species considered a threatening posture. "Contingency plan?" His translator struggled with the concept. "You speak as if you have prepared for this specific scenario." Sarah's smile widened just a fraction. "Oh, we have. Zeta-7 specifically addresses Vorthak territorial expansion combined with reptilian military posturing and crystalline economic destabilization patterns. Though I should mention, we also have Delta-9 if the Void Dwellers decide to get involved, and Omega-3 if this escalates to a multi-species conflict." The silence stretched longer this time. Finally, Empress Velandra of the ancient ethereal collective spoke, her voice carrying the weight of 10,000 years of galactic politics. "Impossible. You cannot have predicted this exact combination of events." "Actually," Sarah said, pulling up a holographic display from her datapad, "Dr. Martinez from our Strategic Forecasting Division ran the probability matrices about 6 months ago. Vorthak expansion during their resource shortage season, combined with reptilian concerns about shipping lane security and crystalline market fluctuations, the probability was sitting at about 67%. Zektar's pupils dilated, a sign of extreme agitation in his species. "You have been watching us, spying." "Not spying," Sarah corrected gently. "Just paying attention. It's remarkable what you can predict when you actually observe behavioral patterns instead of assuming everyone will act rationally." "High Admiral." Krex slammed one of his massive fists on the table. "This is intolerable. No species should have such detailed knowledge of others' internal affairs." Sarah's expression didn't change, but something in her posture shifted, like a predator acknowledging a challenge. "Would you prefer we discuss how we predicted the Kavari Coalition's current succession crisis? Because that's covered under plan." "Theta-12." The four-armed admiral's jaw dropped, literally, as his mandibles separated in shock. "Impossible," whispered Shalthara, her crystalline form flickering with agitation. "Our economic projections are classified at the highest levels." "Your projections, yes," Sarah agreed. "But market behavior isn't. When a species consistently overextends during prosperity cycles and panic sells during uncertainty, the patterns become quite clear. That's Plan Gamma 4, by the way. Empress Velandra leaned back in her floating meditation pod, her ancient eyes studying the human with new interest. How many of these contingency plans do you have? Sarah consulted her datapad again. Currently, about 14,372, though that number changes as Dr. Martinez's team runs new scenarios. They're particularly excited about their models for first contact with undiscovered species. 14,000, Zektar repeated weakly. Give or take, Sarah confirmed. We tend to be thorough. High Admiral Krex found his voice again. This is why your species terrifies the galaxy. You prepare for wars that haven't even been thought of yet? Oh, we don't prepare for wars, Sarah said, her tone remaining conversational. We prepare for everything. War, peace, trade disputes, cultural exchanges, natural disasters, technological breakthroughs, philosophical crises. Dr. Martinez once spent 3 weeks developing a contingency plan for what to do if a species achieved transcendence and decided to redecorate the galaxy. And what was the conclusion? Empress Velandra asked, despite herself. Politely ask if they needed interior design advice, and offer Earth services as neutral mediators, if any other. Species objected to the new color scheme. The absurdity of it broke something in the chamber's tension. Shalthara's crystalline laughter tinkled like wind chimes in a gentle breeze. You're serious? She managed between harmonic giggles. You actually have a plan for that? Plan Omega Omega 7, Sarah confirmed. Though, between you and me, the probability calculations on that one were more of a thought experiment than actual strategic planning. Zektar slumped in his chair. No wonder your species rose so quickly through galactic politics. You've been playing a game the rest of us didn't even know existed. Not playing, Sarah corrected gently. Just preparing. The universe is a chaotic place, and chaos tends to favor those who've thought about their options ahead of time. She stood, smoothing down her simple diplomatic uniform. Now, shall we discuss implementing Contingency Plan Zeta 7 for the current situation? I believe it offers the best outcome for all parties involved, including some economic benefits for the crystalline markets that weren't immediately obvious. As the delegates slowly began to nod their agreement, Empress Velandra asked the question that would haunt galactic politics for generations to come. Ambassador Chen, do you have contingency plans for your own species? Sarah's smile became something altogether more complex. Empress, we have contingency plans for our contingency plans. Dr. Martinez insists on being thorough. And with that, casual revelation, the balance of galactic power shifted forever. Not through conquest or treaty, but through the simple human habit of thinking ahead.